Good morning. Good Monday, Thanksgiving morning. Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It is October 9th, 2017. We are the Bitter Knitters. We're very late because I slept in. But I am Jacqueline. I'm joined with Arthur.
Hey, what's up?
Um, Ryan, who knows, he probably is also sleeping in or gone to work or just wandering the streets of New York. Who knows? Probably prostituting if I know Ryan.
Yeah, yeah, he needs makeup money.
Yeah, he does. Um, Lots to be thankful for, in all honesty. I mean, just for the basis of being Canadian. Um, in a crazy world where World War III is on the brink and two crazy men are not willing to back down. So, um, yeah, let's. I don't want to talk about him, but let's
Yeah,
go on. um, I don't know what was my favorite story this weekend. I'm gonna save my favorite for last, I think. Um, we talk a lot about science and scientific breakthroughs, and oh, I lost the story. Wait, you probably never saw it because you're a young kid, but back in the '90s, there was a movie called Lorenzo's Oil.
I've heard of it, but no, I never
Okay,
watched it.
yeah, I have lost my story. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so they've done a gene therapy on a group of kids. These studies, they take such a small pool of people,
Yeah,
right? And Lorenzo's oil, I believe, is a pretty rare disease also. Um, but they took 17 boys
okay,
because it only affects boys. It's carried
yeah,
on the Y gene. Or no, think it's carried on the X gene, but because they only have one X gene, that's why it affects them.
all right,
Um, it's a nerve disease, and you don't have a very long life. I guess under 20, usually you die before you hit the age of 20.
yeah,
So of these 17 boys, they treated with gene therapy. 15 of them had no major disability within 2 years.
hmm.
That's incredible,
Yeah.
you know?
No, medical science is it's starting to kick some real ass. Like it
It
really is.
is.
Like after that brain thing we were talking about, where they fucking
Mm-hmm.
took a guy from a vegetative state, fucking attached some electrodes to him, and now he can control head movements and shit. Like, it's a
Yeah.
great time to be alive in that sense. I mean, really
It
only in that
is.
fucking sense, but
But no, but I mean, like through scientific breakthroughs. But yeah, things are happening. I also read, I didn't save the article, but I was reading that um, if you're one of the people with HIV that shows no, because you take the therapies or whatever,
yeah,
and you show no signs of that in your blood,
yeah.
you will not pass that on during sex because they've done so much, advancements with
See,
medicines and
that's
stuff.
fucking great. Like that's great. And I mean, I
Yeah,
know when I was a little younger, I used to have a real harsh standpoint on it because to me, my understanding was it was an ever-changing disease and you could never fucking get rid of it. So I always said, well, maybe
yeah,
people with HIV/AIDS should be quarantined. To me, it was the only way to, kind of kill off the disease. Horrible
yeah,
thing to fucking say,
yeah.
but I mean, obviously, I've never seen anybody with it. Like, I've never met anybody inflicted with that, but
Knowingly, yeah,
watching TV and watching movies, like, that's not something that I would want anybody to
yeah,
have.
yeah.
But no, medical science, I mean, we're getting to a point where it's actually pretty fucking exciting.
It is. It's amazing. And like these gene editing or the stem cell breakthroughs. It's amazing what we're
Yeah,
going to be able to do with that.
yeah.
I mean, we could have the end of Alzheimer's, Parkinson, some of these really horrific diseases.
Alzheimer's would be a great one to end. Like, that'd be
Yeah.
phenomenal.
What a horrible way to go,
Oh my
eh?
God. I've,
To not even know where you are and just be so confused and
yeah, I've
scared
only
and
seen it once and it's sad.
yeah.
Excuse me.
It is
Yeah,
sad.
it really is. But I mean, again, as long as we can keep funneling money towards these doctors and scientists to, put some real work,
Yeah.
some real research into it, I mean, fuck, who knows what'll happen in the next 20, 25 years.
Yeah. Well, and this is the good thing. I mean, this breakthrough for Lorenzo's oils came
Mm-hmm.
at Boston's Children's Hospital,
All right, right on.
which is great. Um, we know in Canada we had a prime minister who stifled scientists for several years.
Yeah,
Now that was more climate change scientists and
Yep.
those kind of scientists, but you can only get more when the government is open to all kinds of scientific research.
Well, and
So
that's it, right? I mean, the thing is you have to be open to it. You can't you can't deny one side and embrace another because that one side kind of fits your narrow worldview.
exactly.
You know, it's an all or nothing kind of thing. And you know, we were
Yeah.
talking a little while ago about like the whole stem cell thing. It's the same thing for that with me. You know, you kind of have to embrace it.
Yeah. Well, you're not gonna get any stem cells from America since they're like making all these abortion
Yeah.
so hard to get.
Yeah.
And people, and it's people when they get abortions, they have, I guess, a form or a release form to say that they're willing to let their aborted fetus become used in research. So it's not every baby is just sucked out and sent to research.
Yeah, exactly.
People have the right to say yes or no. It's the same as when you have a baby in a hospital. You can choose to give your umbilical cord to research. So, well, they did back then when I was having kids. Yeah. That was at the infancy of it.
I never knew that.
Yeah. You could even store them. I know a girl who, I don't know if she still does. I'm assuming she did. You can pay a certain amount a year or a month, and they store your umbilical cord in case your child or somebody in your family ever gets cancer, and you could use those umbilical stem cells to possibly make a cure.
That's pretty cool.
You know, what do you call that? Like a bone marrow transplant. So you'd use a stem cell transplant. That's what I was trying to say.
Huh. That's actually really cool.
I couldn't afford that back then because I think it was like, I want to say it was like $25 a month, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And I definitely could not afford that back then.
Yeah. Huh. Right on.
But, yeah. Okay. So more science. I was reading, and I don't understand a lot of this because it's really kind of techie talk. But according to this article, it's venturebeat.com. I don't even know what that article is, but I was linked to it. The study is basically saying that within the next 25 years, AI will evolve to a point, artificial intelligence will evolve to a point where it knows more than us, any human, which is understandable. But in the next 50 to 100 years, an AI might know more than the entire population of the planet put together. And that at that time, AI God is going to exist. And some people already want to write a Bible towards it. The guy who, what's his name? Anthony Lewandowski. I guess he once helped create Uber or worked at Uber.
Okay.
He wants to start a Bible for the AI God.
You'd have to. You'd have to imply like strict fucking rules on something like that. You would have to because it's a fair.
We talked about AI multiple times.
It's a fair point. Like once that thing's able to just drink up information, I mean, it's game over. Yeah. It's game fucking over. You know, there's
absolutely
there's lots of smart people on Earth, like, and I mean, fucking like genius people. But this thing will know all their knowledge plus the other geniuses' knowledge plus everything else. You know, like there's no fucking stopping that. Like, what are you going to do?
There's no way to stop it. That's why I think we really need to keep our AIs off the internet.
But you can't.
Like, you got to keep it somehow in a room where it does not have access to. Because once you put them on the internet, it's going to know it's smarter than us. It's going to see us watching the Kardashians and the Real Housewives and be like, these people are not worth saving.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a dangerous game to be playing.
So if you think, I just had a thought. Maybe I heard it from somebody else, maybe you. When the aliens come, do you think it's just going to be AI technology? Because wouldn't the same thing have happened to any other kind of intelligent race?
I personally think that. I mean, I can't, for me personally, especially when you think like aliens coming to Earth, I mean, you got to think of the distance of space and just how dangerous it is and to send physical biological fucking beings through that insane radioactive fucking vacuum, you know, it just doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem plausible, obviously, unless these assholes know fucking wormhole technology or some shit like that.
That's the only way you're gonna be able to travel vast distances.
But with how we know space travel and how we would do it, no, it makes zero fucking sense to send a physical being in a fucking ship. You know, so there'd have to be some kind of artificial intelligence.
Now, would an AI even want to travel? Why wouldn't AI would an AI be curious enough to travel the universe?
I mean, I don't think for learning purposes. I mean, if they're at a point where they can fucking, create an artificial intelligence that can conquer the cosmos, then it knows, it doesn't need to come out to fucking learn. Like it's definitely to harvest something, be it fucking uranium or water or whatever the fuck resource it needs, or what I mean?
What it needs to build more.
Like I've always kind of thought that, being the weirdo that I am and thinking about that kind of shit. And, if we're ever contacted, I mean, I don't see it being like, oh, they're just here to observe. No, they're here to take shit.
No, right? I agree. I think if they're coming here, it's like they always say, when we conquered other parts of the world,
exactly. It was never in the name of exploration. It was in the name of, fuck, we don't have enough room for these assholes. We need to go find more room. We need to go find,
or we want special foods, or we want special
spices.
We need
harvestable land.
And the cultures that were considered, barbarians or savages, they were bent to our will.
Yeah. I don't know, but AI is a dangerous game. And
it is. It really kind of scares me.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see, as scared as I am intrigued to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And then that leads us into our next story. Now, we talked about the sex robot that got a convention, but somebody is saying, a lecturer named Dr. Nick Patterson, he's saying that basically your sex doll can be hacked and used to kill you. So, like, depending on how evolved these things become, how advanced these robots become, people are looking forward to the day where they literally look like a human being and move like a human being and feel like a human being. When that can be hacked, then you've basically got a killing machine, because do whatever you want to.
No, absolutely.
But he also makes a good point. It's like, don't even worry about that when we hack your, your fancy massage chair or your every item in your house that has computer technology.
Well, and that's it, right? I mean, to get to a point where your sex robot could fucking kill you, I mean, we're nowhere near that shit. I mean, you look at like what the Japanese are doing with robotics, and I mean, their robots can barely walk.
Yeah.
Without assistance, like.
Or stand up, because I mean, once you get the robot, I watched the video and it kind of made me sad. But they had the robot and the guy kept pushing it over because they're trying to work on balance, right?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people going, "Oh, why are you kicking the poor robot? It's wires and metal. Like, don't put human fucking emotion into the equation."
We do. Like,
oh yeah.
Am I the only one who was sad about the Pathfinder on Mars? Just sitting there by itself. The Rosetta Stone, the Rosetta thing that went onto that comet and it lost touch, and it makes you sad. The one that just dropped into fucking Jupiter. I don't know. Maybe I attach too much human feelings to these things. Well, they're going to turn into AIs and kill me.
I can't remember what it was. There's a movie or a TV show where Buddy did something like that. Or it was fucking Community, that show Community, where the guy, he names the pencil and snaps the pencil, and everyone's like, oh my god. And that's it. Like, the second you give something a human name, you bring human fucking emotion into it.
True.
So don't name your sex robot fucking Stephanie. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't do it anyway, because that's your mom's name.
Well, yeah, it's just the first name that came in my head, but, name it fucking like Jerkoff 2000 or some fucking shit, and you won't get as fucking attached to the damn thing.
The Jizzbot.
Yeah, so when it picks up a knife, you'll feel okay grabbing a fucking gun and just blowing its fucking robotic head off.
And then the other thing is saying, which makes sense, and I just didn't really think about, is that, it's going to have possibly cameras and voice, because it's going to be voice activated to some degree. Your conversations will be, I mean, you're gonna have to put it in a special box, and or else someone could hack it and then start getting your.
Oh yeah, the NSA is gonna watch you doing all kinds of freaky shit to your weird fucking robotic dildo.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna get a robot. I don't want them to see me doing all my weird shit.
Well, and that's it too. Like, it's such a weird concept to me.
It is.
Like, it really is. It's such a weird fucking concept to me that you're.
Like, I get it why people would do it. I mean.
It's no different than a woman owning a vibrator.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really have a problem with somebody who wants to have a sex robot. Look, if you can get your jollies off that way,
cool,
fantastic, right? Keep it clean, because some people are dirty and don't clean shit. Keep that nice and clean. But my worry is, I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the show, but I read an article. They were talking about how people will treat their sex robots and what that kind of says. Because if you got a guy or a woman that
Mm-hmm.
likes to beat things, right?
Yeah.
So now it's going to kick and punch and
Mm-hmm.
so it's getting its jollies off that way. But when will that be too much and it'll lead to a human that they're going to start doing that to? Or child sex dolls, like we were talking. I think we
Yeah.
talked about that
See, and
previously.
that's where you're really crossing a line, you know what I mean? But at the same point in
Yeah.
time, it's only a bunch of fucking wires and metal. You can't attach
Yeah.
those human fucking feelings towards it. As
But so if
disgusting
your
as it
neighbor had a
is.
child sex robot,
Oh, I'd look at them like a fucking complete degenerate, you know what
you
I mean?
certainly wouldn't want them living next door
Oh,
to you, right?
absolutely not. But I mean, again, like coming at this from a fair fucking point, you can't say anything because it's a fucking robot. Like it's not a human being.
Yeah.
It's just wires and metal that some fucking weirdo wants to have sex with.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
even when I seen the emergence of those real dolls a few years back,
yeah, yeah.
and I kept looking at the guys fucking flaunting them around. I'm like, what the fuck? What went wrong in your life, man? Like, really,
Yeah.
what the fuck happened that you were like,
There's
no?
a lot of people out there. I mean, and it seems, I don't want to say it's like trendy, but it
Mm,
seems like there's so much people now that are talking about their anxiety and they're wanting to
yeah,
stay home and being antisocial. And I'm like, what? You know? And it seems like suddenly everybody I know on my Facebook feed has anxiety issues and doesn't
yeah.
like to go out. But for the true people that really do have,
Social anxiety and
issues.
it's fair to approach
Yeah.
somebody in a romantic or sexual way is quite
Or maybe
daunting.
perhaps for people that have a physical or mental disability that might not have the ability to meet somebody else.
See, in that respect, I can understand. I remember seeing something a few years ago about paid prostitution from the government to help people with physical disabilities and stuff like that. Because again, sex is
Yeah.
it's a human fucking need. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not a want. It is a
Yeah.
human physical need, and you do have to satiate that need. So like in that respect, I absolutely do understand and kind of respect it.
Yeah.
But it's so
Yeah.
weird and cringy to me. Like just the thought of being like,
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
is
spend 10
strange.
grand on my own personal fucking sex robot, and I'm gonna comb its hair, and I'm gonna fucking put it in a wheelchair and wheel it around town with me and
Well,
shit. Like,
yeah, that's weird. Once you bring it out and treat it like it's your real girlfriend,
right?
that's
Like
where
it's
it gets a
so
little weird.
odd to me, and that like there's
But then how do you, this is the thing. So we're right, it's no different than a sex toy to some degree. But now what if what if Liz got a male sex robot and, wouldn't that be creepy? I don't know. I think I would be
if
jealous.
you're in a relationship and somebody does that, then yeah, like there's something a little more there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be jealous. I admit it. I'm not trying to lie.
But
I'd be
there's
like,
like that. There's that weird double standard when it comes to that, though. Like a husband and a wife. Like the husband can be completely cool with his wife having that whole tickle trunk. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The moment he goes out and gets a fucking pocket vagina, like he's now some weird sexual deviant fucking
I wouldn't
pervert.
care, but I know a lot of people would.
You wouldn't care, but you'd still look at him a little differently. Like, you fucking weirdo.
I'm like, go get your flashlight, buddy.
Right?
I'm mad at you. Tonight it's the flashlight.
But it's kind of fucked to me though, like that the sex industry is kind of driving robotics right now. You're not
Yeah.
really hearing about like these huge leaps and
Mates. Or
bounds.
even like, uh, um, one that would come in and be like, they used to have like monkeys that would be like for paralyzed people to
Yeah.
help them do their little tasks. They're not
Yeah.
talking about robots that will come and help be, assistant. It's
No,
all
'cause
about sex.
They know some weird asshole is gonna be like, I'm gonna stick my dick in that. Right?
That's probably where you're gonna make the
Like
most money.
well, yeah, absolutely. Like I figured like the leaps and bounds within robotics would have taken place militarily. Right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Well, I'm sure they have some robotics, but not like the sex industry.
no, but that's it though. Like the sex industry is really driving fucking robotics forward, which is a fucking hilarious to me.
But like, I want to say it's Japan.
Yeah.
They have the freaking blowjob machine.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like a vending machine.
Yeah, Japan is fucking light years ahead of us within sex and sexuality. Like they're fun people.
I guess.
And some of it's fucking disgusting. Like I was, on Reddit, they like to poke fun at Japanese culture a lot. It was a vending machine that sold fucking used schoolgirl panties.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
You know what? How do you even know it's a used panties? I could just buy a pair of panties, wipe my butt on it, and then send it in the mail.
Yeah,
How do you know
exactly.
who's wearing those panties?
Right? It's fucking. But hey, I guess it's the fantasy.
I guess.
But yeah,
Little
no,
pair of
this
cotton
this
panties.
whole sex robot thing. I mean, I've been hearing about it for some time now, and I don't take it serious just because of that whole like pervert fucking level to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I can think about the kind of guys that I've known over the years that would be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know a few. Like I have a few people that are in my life that I'm like, yeah, you would absolutely spend 10 grand on your own personal little fuck robot.
Yeah. I used to work with this guy. I won't say his name. I'm sure he's probably not even alive in this day and age.
Yeah.
But when I worked at the tow truck company and I did dispatching, he would come in and do Sunday mornings only, the morning shift. And he was such a creeper. He would like stand close to you, try to hug you, but he would always talk about he went to the strippers and he would just give his money to these girls. Like even he would drive them around and he would pay for their bills. And it's just like he never had sex with them because obviously they were not interested in it. He's just like a creeper.
But even that though, like the sex industry is fairly huge. You know, even when you think of it, strippers, prostitution, these cam girls and stuff like that.
Porn, everything. Yeah, it's a huge...
It would take a...
$1 trillion business, I'm sure.
It'll take a huge hit with this kind of stuff. Because most of the guys that are willing to pay for hookers or pay for, you know, cam porn and stuff like that would stop because now...
Well, they'd have their own girl.
Exactly. Why not just save up my money, buy myself a robot?
I can make my robot Leslie sit on a cake. I don't have to pay someone else to sit on the cake.
Oh, cake sitting. I can't believe that's a fucking thing. But it is. People they never cease to fucking amaze me with their pervertedness. Like it's so I don't know how to say it.
How these strange fetishes come about? What twisted childhood did you have?
What happened? That like
I had a weird childhood, and I don't think I have any strange fetishes.
Like it's weird, but I don't know. It's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't see them like being hacked to kill people.
Just keep it off the internet, people.
Well, you'd have to though, because there'd have to be software updates and shit like that. Like you know what I mean? There would have to be some way to continue updating it.
We talked about this before. You didn't watch the show Humans, did you?
No.
From Britain. Oh,
no.
That's basically AI things. But they had ones for cleaning. They had ones for mining. They had ones for garbage. They had ones for sex.
Yeah.
And it's actually an interesting show. You should try to watch it if you ever get a chance.
I mean, if it's a TV-based sci-fi show, I probably won't like it. Like as much as I'm into
super sci-fi. It's more like ethical kind of thinking.
Okay.
There's not a ton of sci-fi language in it.
But even that though, like once this whole robot thing fucking takes hold, and it will. Like I mean, that's the next logical step for us is to actually like have
the age of the robots is coming.
Right? It's gonna be funny when you have these robot rights activists fucking marching in the streets because
that's
people
what it'll be. Yeah.
Right? Oh, you're treating your robot wrong. They have feelings too. Like no, it's wires and some fucking ones and zeros, asshole. Like fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be all fucking iRobot.
What if they do become what's the word, sentient?
Sentient. Dude, I don't know. I don't give two shits about this.
Is AI and self-awareness the same as sentient?
I don't believe so. I still think it's just a machine. It was something that was, you know, it's just fucking binary. It's ones and zeros. It has no fucking rights. I don't know, but that's me. I mean, I'm probably wrong. You know, like I'm sure there's someone. I mean,
it's hard because it's such an area we've never really had to think about before, right?
But that's it though. Like I'm sure there's somebody with, you know, more intellectual than I am that could put that argument to me in a way that I can't refute, you know? So I'm sure I'm wrong in some fucking sense, but no, if I spend 10 grand on a fucking sex robot, then it has no goddamn rights. It's just there to, you know.
But maybe somebody's saying that about a human. I spent 10 grand on this person from, you know, Russia.
Yeah, see, that's the conflict. That's it. But even that though, do you think it would quell the human trafficking? Or do you think
you know what? This is my thing. This is why I think for the person who's like a true, I think it'd be fine for like people who are just shy or can't get a girl. I think it's fine. But I think for people that have like real kind of, especially let's say like violent issues.
Yeah.
Right? I think that won't. I mean, it'll just quell it for a bit, but they're definitely gonna have to move on to the next person.
Yeah,
You know, you're gonna get bored. People get bored. So if
yeah,
you're in a
that's fair.
relationship and you have Angelina Jolie, people would still cheat on her, right?
And that, right? Like, isn't that weird that somebody could get a robot made like of you if they wanted it,
That's true.
right?
There's the thing. Can you
And that,
imagine what kind of sicko would want me? Weird.
well, yeah, but like it's a
Yeah, no,
possibility with that. Like,
exactly. You send in your design and what you want it to look like, or yeah, exactly. How many Angelina robots? How
yeah,
many whoever Beyonce?
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, like you're gonna get a lot of fucking these weird stalkers like going out and getting their fucking god awful Gwyneth Paltrow fucking sex
I was about
robots.
to say Taylor. I tried to think of the worst thing, and I thought of
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Or
Gwyneth
like
Paltrow is pretty disgusting.
fucking Miley Cyrus or some fucking
Oh
shit. And
God,
then they
yeah.
have to live with that because you know these assholes will show up to like red carpet events toting their fucking weird fucking sex
Oh my God. And then
robot
you have
behind them.
like people that just love to be fuckers, like say like the Jackass guys, or
Yeah,
even like say a Milo.
yeah.
Milo,
Oh
like
yeah.
showing up with like,
Oh my
I don't know, a
god.
Bill Maher doll or something.
That'd be fucking
Or
hilarious.
fucking Obama.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm changing my mind on this. Maybe they are a fairly cool idea. Because that's fucking great. Like, that's great. All the Donald Trump fucking sex robots out there.
People just like fucking kick in the face on the daily.
Oh my god. Hopefully this technology doesn't become real prevalent while he's in office because he's gonna force them on all Americans.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All sex dolls must look like me or Ivanka.
Yeah. Well, no, it'd be Melania, but yeah.
Daughter Ivanka.
Yeah, fair
He
enough.
probably has 4 of them already.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's talk
no.
about, we've been talking about the sex industry and robots and stuff. We'll talk about stealthing. So
Yeah.
I only heard the term stealthing, I think just maybe about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, same here.
And this is the term they use for when you're having consensual sex and the male, I'm assuming it's the male who does it most of the time,
Yeah.
Removes the condom
Yeah, without the females.
without the female's consent.
Yeah.
Um,
It's absolutely disgusting, and I'm actually really for what they're trying to do.
yeah, they want to, 2 representatives in the U.S. In the government, they want to have that classified as a form of rape, which
Yeah.
it is. I think it
Yeah,
is.
no,
I agree.
I'm in absolute agreement with that. That's horrible. I mean, you're entering into a contract essentially with consensual sex,
Yeah.
and to deviate from that, it's essentially rape.
Look,
It really
even if you're
is.
having a one-night stand with a complete stranger,
Yeah,
there's like you said, there's a contract. There's a sense of trust,
exactly.
right?
You
That
know,
a
there-
person is saying, "Look, I'm willing to have sex with you, but we need to use this condom and take that off, and put that person in the sense of not only a pregnancy, but all kinds of freaking diseases and some that will
Exactly.
kill you."
As much fun as sex can be, like there's a lot of negative aspects to it. And I mean, I'm not saying like kids are automatically a negative, but for someone who, let's say 17,
Yeah.
18, like that's a huge negative fucking thing on their life. Or
Yeah.
even somebody who's 30 who maybe doesn't have their shit together and they get knocked up. That's a
And it doesn't
huge
matter. What if
detriment.
you're a stupid, gross senator that wants to bone somebody, and
Yeah.
he's so anti-abortion
Yeah.
that he doesn't want his girlfriend to get knocked out, or but then he does stealthing. That's wrong. You don't
No,
do that. to people.
that's horrendous. Like that's so horrendous. And I mean, I kind of feel like that had to have started off as some kind of like 4chan troll or some shit, just by
That's
the
what I was
name of
gonna
it.
say. It sounds like some freaking skeevy thing that some group of skeevy guys wanted to
Yeah,
start.
like they just
thought
like,
it was funny.
it'd be so funny, it'd be so funny, it'd be so funny, and then it kind of caught on, and now you have all these fucking just asshats fucking doing it. Like the article you sent me, the girl's now stuck with a fucking, she's got a kid. She had a kid that she never fucking planned on. She had consensual sex, which there's nothing wrong with. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not a fucking complete idiot and doing that kind of shit.
Yeah,
But no,
it's disgusting.
I am all for that being classified as a form of rape. I really am, because you
It is.
essentially
You're taking away somebody's, their right to choose at that point.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's messed
Disgusting.
up.
What kind of douche. I'm telling you, if I freaking found out that somebody did that to me,
Yeah.
the act, I would probably be in jail for abuse
Oh
because
yeah,
I would probably hit him
absolutely.
with the heaviest thing I found.
No, that's horrible. Like that's not something you do. And like to even think of like the trust issues it would give that person afterwards.
You
That
would never want
girl,
to have sex. That girl's
right?
wearing the female condom for sure afterward,
Yeah.
forever.
But like I also have that kind of thought too, where I'm a little conflicted on it because you're leaving all that choice really up to the
Yeah,
dude, you know.
yeah,
And I understand like other than the female condom, there's no real. I
yeah,
mean, there's birth control, obviously, like that
yeah,
can be in the hands of the female, but within regards to the spread of STIs, like that's really
yeah.
all up on
There's no real other options for women. We have
right.
all the birth control
Yeah,
options, unless they're taking it away.
yeah,
But we really don't have, other than the female condom, like you said,
yeah.
to protect. I mean, but not that men have any other way to prevent
No,
STIs either. Oh,
no.
there's my voice.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of.
I have to say, I've said it many times. Looking at the rate of STIs growing in like my age group and
Yeah,
higher, that's just like, and looking at all these freaking dating apps and stuff. I'm
yeah.
glad I do not have to date in this day and age. And let me tell you, if something were to happen to Scott, we got divorced or he
Uh-huh.
passed away or whatever, I don't know that I would be dating again. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd find a boning partner, but that's it. I don't want to date.
See,
It's too much.
but even that to me, it seems dangerous nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, you have the
I'd be
internet at your
scared.
fingertips. Like I try to say
I'd
that
have
a
to buy a
lot.
sex robot that looked like Idris Elba because I don't know what else what I would do.
See, you'd be one of them creepy people.
I'd be a creeper. I'd be a creeper.
But no, it's a fair point. Like, especially.
I just thought you wouldn't even have to get how the person looked. You could go back and get like young Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Like if you have the hots for
George Washington.
George Washington, fuck out of here.
I don't know what your kink is. You might want George Washington.
True enough. True enough.
I'm the father of the country now, bitch. Like what?
It's fair. Like you could absolutely hate Johnny Depp, but find Captain Jack Sparrow fucking hot as hell, and that's fucked up. But no, this stealthing thing, like it's fucking disgusting.
Sick.
It's absolutely disgusting. Like it reminds me of a couple of the other fucking weird things I've seen on the internet, like these sex moves. What the fuck? The switcheroo.
Oh, where you're like doing it from behind and you bring in your buddy to start boning? Yeah.
Right. That's rape.
That's full. That's 100% rape.
Like there's nothing even funny about that. That's fucking rape. Like you can't classify that as anything else but fucking rape.
Sick. Why did I don't want to say just guys because I hate to paint all guys with that brush, but like, why are some of these guys fucking disgusting? Like
that was absolutely all, like not all men, but all these fucking weird sex ideas are all fucking dudes. I don't understand why we're this gross and disgusting and we're childish, I guess. You know what I mean? Like
yes. And when you get a group of guys, I mean, women. When you get a group of women, they get bitchy, but when you get a group of guys, they just get stupid.
Yeah, no, it's the God's honest truth. Like it really is. Like we're kind of fucking horrendous beings, but
so as soon as you start talking about sex, then it's kind of like that egging on sort of thing where you just egg each other on until you're doing the stupidest circle jerks or whatever. I mean, at least the circle jerk is innocent, right? But like, still.
And that's it too. Like out of all this fucking weird shit I've ever heard, like none of it's ever come from like the female's perspective. It's always the dude.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. And most of it does come back to rape. Like most of it is degrading the chick or doing something just completely fucking immoral and you finding it hilarious.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's fucked. And
I feel bad. Can you imagine being the victim of a switcheroo or stealthing? Like
oh my God. But like at the same point in time though, I mean, condoms can fall off. It can happen.
You're taking a risk. They can break. They break.
So if that's the case and say it just fell off, I mean, can this girl still try to charge or whatever through that same kind of thing?
I mean, I guess you'd have some girls that would, I mean, there's always the girls that cry rape that have.
Oh, absolutely.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Right? Sadly. But I mean, I guess there'd be some girls that maybe would believe that it was a stealth thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you didn't have to dig it out from inside.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
if it fell out, slid out, and landed on the bed, you'd be like, you did a stealth.
Yeah, because there's always that double-edged sword when it comes to this kind of shit, Like there really is. Like as much as I I am a supporter of, you should believe victims when they say, something happened to me. But at the
Yeah.
same point in time, people lie. People lie.
Yeah,
And
they
I don't
do.
know for what reason, but people will always fucking lie.
Yeah.
So you always have to take this shit with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And well, we were talking about this last week. When these people lie, I'm losing my voice. It's ridiculous. When these people lie, they're just then delegitimizing all the people that have actual legitimate claims.
Exactly.
And people don't believe. That's why we blame the victim for so many years.
Exactly. Right? And then you make it so much harder for the next person who is actually a fucking victim to really get their point across. Like, no, like, this fucking happened to me. And we're like, no, it's too familiar. It feels just like this one. It's
exactly.
a shame. It really is.
Yeah. People stop making false rape claims.
Just stop making false claims, period. Oh, that shit, that's
stop switcherooing. Stop raping.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to tell you don't rape. That goes for everybody, men and women. Don't rape, okay?
And it's messed up that even still in this day and age, like in some places of the world, and I don't want to name them, but where it's still used as like a dominance kind of thing, where like men will rape women to kind of show them their place, and it's
put them in their place.
Like,
look, we know that Afghanistan brought in that law where a woman basically had to have sex with her husband whatever times a week he wanted. And if she didn't want to, he could just rape her legally.
Yeah.
That's not the only country. There's sadly some other countries.
And there's also places where the woman's forced to marry her rapist.
Yeah.
Like the shit really needs to be nipped in the fucking butt, and I've gotten kind of upset in the last few years hearing about like rape culture and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, personally, I don't believe we live in a rape culture here in the West, but there is a fucking like a worldwide rape culture. There is. There really fucking is. And as a species, we should be fucking doing something to end that fucking shit. Yeah.
I kind of do think that there's, I don't want to say the full on rape culture in the West, but there is kind of like a subset.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of, I always think about that one. I can't remember what, I want to say like Missouri. The one where the teenage boys took the girl, she was all drunk and they raped her. And then and the whole town turned on her.
Yeah, no, that's not cool. You have
girls saying she's a dumb slut.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have everybody turn on you.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
and say that it was okay what happened to you. That's
not cool.
I don't think 100% rape culture.
No.
I don't like that.
No, me neither.
But I think there's...
Because to me...
But I think there are, like, anybody who would do stealthing or switcheroo,
so
they're kind of in that rape culture mindset.
And I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. And when you want to talk about that aspect, then there is this weird rape culture here in the West. But like, to me, saying that it delegitimizes like the actual fucking rape cultures that happen elsewhere,
Yeah.
Where it's just, I don't know, it's fucked up. It's just, I mean, maybe it was just how I was raised. I was raised, you don't fucking force yourself on another person.
It's like, growing up, we always were taught, the girls were always taught, don't do that. Why were you walking down the street in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Why were you dressed that way? Right? Yeah. And it's kind of that attitude when women say that's rape culture. And I get why some women say it. I should be able to walk down the street naked and not get raped. Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
You should be, but let's face it, if you do that, you're pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
But I don't know.
It's fucked up. It's so weird. But at the same point, like that argument, because I've heard that argument a few times, it's not something to me that's completely just addictive to women. Because there's boys that get raped.
Mm-hmm,
and I mean,
absolutely.
The weird thing is if you bring that up, especially if you're talking to someone who's like a real believer in like the rape culture in the West and shit like that, they delegitimize that stuff.
That's not fair. I don't like these crazy women will delegitimize anything to do with their male counterparts.
Yeah, no.
Like breast cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, women get breast cancer way more than men, but there's still men that suffer from it. We have to acknowledge them and we have to support them too.
It's so messed up.
It's not just a woman's issue. I mean, the only thing you can say that's ours is like cervical and uterine,
cancer,
but whatever. I just, we have to start being more open-minded, I guess.
Doing something. And I always hear, you said it a few times, you got to teach your boys not to rape.
Yeah.
But I've never, like, again, I've never known, like, with myself included, and watching my friends raise their sons and shit, I've never seen someone that never said, like, no, it's cool to force yourself upon another human being.
Well, of
I've
course you don't
never
say
seen
that,
that.
but I think you really kind of need to make it more clear these days, or what could be construed as rape. Like, I really kind of I don't know if I forced it. I hope I have put it into Logan's mind to be, especially when it comes to consent, because you can be, if you have sex with somebody who's super drunk, you can put yourself in a dangerous situation. And that's my kind of thing. Be aware. I'm more saying, like, be hyper aware of what situations you're putting yourself into. I've never said don't rape. I think I have actually said don't rape girls. But
see, but like that to me, like that's such a weird statement to say. Like that to me comes down to an empathy level, where you should just, like, with your fucking human morals.
But someone didn't tell the guy who created the switcheroo, don't rape girls.
No. But again, though, like, I don't think that was real. I swear to God, like, just hearing that to me fucking makes me think 4chan, makes me think of some weird fucking internet troll.
But I bet you there's a few people out there that did it. That's my
absolutely.
thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I won't fucking deny that. Like, there are absolutely horrible fucking people out there. They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that.
And I hate to say it, but some gross frat brother.
Oh yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say it, but that's exactly where my fucking.
And I'm not saying all frat brothers are this way. I know people that have been in fraternities and are very nice people.
Yeah.
But you have to admit there are some gross.
Oh yeah. And they're
same as there's some bitchy sorority cunts out there.
And their turquoise shorts and fucking boat shoes with no socks on. Yeah. All named Chad.
Or Thad.
Yeah, or Thad. Fuck's sake.
Let's move on to some other gross people.
Yay.
This actually makes me really happy. Because finally somebody's been punished for not vaccinating their children.
Yeah.
We've got a suburban Detroit mom. Her name was Rebecca Bradow. She had an agreement with her ex-husband that their son would be vaccinated. I guess it was court ordered that she had to do what he said. She didn't, and she got sentenced to 7 days in jail. Now, 7 days isn't very much, but that's a start.
But she wasn't sent to jail because of not vaccinating. She was sent to jail because she disobeyed a court order.
Well, that's the thing.
Right? Now, I mean, again, you can't do that. You can't, like, court, like, that's the fucking law. Like, when somebody says the word's the law, that's it. That word right there is the fucking law. There's no arguing it. Exactly. The court says you do something, you fucking do it. I kind of wish she was sent to jail for not vaccinating her fucking kid.
Well, she should have got a couple months for the non-vaccination.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But yeah, no, it is about time. I mean,
well, I'm glad that the judge sided with the father and allowed him to, help make the child rearing decision and been like, no, you need to do it. So the father now has temporary custody of the child, and the child is going to be properly vaccinated.
Good. Again, I'm not a father, so I don't really have a leg to stand on in this argument. But
everybody has a valid opinion about vaccination. It does affect.
So I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the whole father's rights issue.
Oh, okay.
It's really fucking disgusting when you actually start to delve into it. Now, I haven't personally. I have a couple of friends who are recent fathers who, are dealing with, batshit fucking crazy baby mamas that are taking them to the ringers, and solely on the fact that they're just the mom. They have no real claim to say that they are better caregivers, and it really rubs me the wrong fucking way how, I mean, again, I'm not one to articulate this argument because I kind of see what they share. I glance over the articles and stuff like that. But I mean, there really is a huge double standard when we're talking about this.
Look, women normally get the caregiver. They get this child support.
Yeah.
But I get that there's a lot of deadbeat dads. I know there's a lot of deadbeat dads. But I'm kind of of the mindset. Now, maybe I've been lucky because I've been with my husband since we had kids and I never had to be a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always kind of had the mindset, unless the guy was physically or sexually abusing the child, I think that they should always have visitation, whether it's a supervised. I mean, even as long as they're not stoned out on drugs.
Yeah.
When they show up for the visitation, you can get supervised visits. You go to the YMCA, and you go into a little private room where you can play video games or just talk or do puzzles, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you get some supervised visits. I think that there should be no reason why if the dad and the child want to see each other, why they shouldn't be allowed to. Like I said, unless there was an abuse situation.
I've just never understood how the mother is always the default. And it's not to talk shit about all
it wasn't
women.
When my parents separated, we went with my dad.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't really have a leg to stand on within this argument. It's just stuff that I've seen them share. And my one friend, he's a very, very smart guy, and he knows better than to share shit from like jihadywatch.org, these are real fucking studies, and and there really is a huge fucking double standard. And to me, this case was kind of a win in that sense. Like, whereas like finally the courts realize, like, the fathers, they have a fucking say as well.
And they absolutely should. I agree. I do think that there's a huge lag in fathers' rights.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of stand-up guys that want to be dads.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shitty mothers.
Yeah. Who just get the kid and only want the kid for that monetary support. They only want the child support, so they're
using the kid as a little weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get to see this kid this weekend because you pissed me off or you got a new girlfriend or whatnot.
Oh yeah, and I've seen that.
And it's funny, and I always have my joke. The reason I got with Scott was because he's the only white guy in Scarborough without a kid. But honestly, I would not have, back then, 100% would not have dated a guy with kids.
No.
I don't care what color they were. I would not have dated a guy with kids because I saw crazy baby mamas. I was friends with crazy baby mamas. Did not want to deal with that.
It's such a weird thing. Like, and it's something I'm happy that I don't have to fucking go through in my life. Like, I don't think I could. I really don't think I could do that. Put myself in a position to be in the middle of someone's baby drama. Yeah. And it's not the downplay baby drama. Like, it is. Technically it should be a big deal. It's a fucking human life we're talking about. But to see how some people use them as weapons, and in this case, to me, that's what I got, was this woman was trying to use the kid as a weapon against the father.
Well, it bit her in the ass. Okay, now there's not a lot of details on this next story. I don't know how long we'll be able to talk about it, but it just made me laugh. So, police arrested a man in Casper, Wyoming for public intoxication. Once they arrested him, he claimed that he had traveled back in time to warn them of an alien invasion. So we've got a time-traveling man coming from the year 2048.
Yeah.
He says he had to be drunk because that's the only way. The aliens filled his body with the alcohol because that was the only way that they could transport him. He was supposed to come to the year 2018 when the alien attack is coming. But sadly, the aliens miscalculated and sent him to 2017.
So they conquered fucking time travel, but they fucked up on the time travel?
Well, maybe he didn't have enough alcohol in his body.
Fuck's sakes. The real question here is, did the cops believe it? Did he get a ticket? Did he go to jail?
It doesn't say, does it?
Fuck's sake.
He's gonna get a ticket for sure.
That's so.
He asked to speak to the president of the town. What the? There's no president of a town.
Oh,
it's a mayor.
God, what?
Maybe he is from the future where everybody is presidents and nobody's a mayor.
That's too good. That's fucking amazing.
So if you're ever drunk in public again, there's your excuse.
I wish I could think on my feet like that, especially if I'm that intoxicated. Like, I wish I could come up with some big, no, man, it was the fucking aliens. They sent me back. I'm from the fuck off. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
I know. But, okay, so have you ever heard anybody claim something like that? Maybe people have claimed it, but it just hasn't made the news.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of batshit crazy people out there that claim fucking...
Maybe that's your guy. What's that guy? The Terman man? What's that guy?
Oh, the man from Torrid.
Torrid, yeah. That's it. Why can't I remember that? I like to shop at that store.
Yeah. Yeah, even when I was talking about that, I can't say that I full out believe it. To fucking time travel? Really? It could exist, I guess, but there's no fucking proof of it, so I'm not gonna believe it. But that shit was just a cool mystery to me.
I love the idea of time travel.
Oh, same here.
I'm such a historical buff. We talked about this many times. I love history, but the best idea of time travel that I've seen is that you would need to have the machine before you, so you'd basically be in the machine and travel to the future and back to the time the machine was created.
Yeah.
You could never travel back to a time before the machine was created.
Well, of course
right?
not.
So if I invented the machine today, anybody from the future could come back to the minute I invented the machine, but not
you couldn't go to the past.
Yeah, which is kind of smart. I mean, you think about it that way, you're not trapped in like the dinosaur age with, you know.
Yeah. But that's the thing with time travel. It's just paradox upon paradox upon paradox because we have no fucking idea about it because it doesn't exist.
But time is a concept we created, right? In space, there's no true time like we see it.
Well,
right?
no, time obviously
on the hours on the clock.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely up to our perception. But time, I mean, it is a real thing. Like, it's not something that just kind of was pulled out of thin air. It's not a concept. It's not a philosophy. Like, it is a real, actual, you know, measurable fucking thing. But no, you're absolutely correct. Like, time on Jupiter isn't going to be like time here. Time fucking, you know, on the outer rim of the solar system is not going to be like time here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
what time is, that was the thing. I only learned this maybe 10 years ago, maybe 12. I was watching a documentary about space, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, as we move into the center of the universe, we're moving back in time. And I was like, what? I'd never heard that. And just like, as they explained that theory, that I was just like, my mind was blown, in all honesty.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you start bringing in like time paradoxes, it gets to be a little screwy. I remember being young and finding out that like anytime we look through a telescope at a star, we're looking back in time.
Yeah.
And like that was just such a hard concept for me to wrap my fucking, you know, my small little developing brain around. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I time travel when I look out in the stars, and like technically,
like that was the thing. Like I knew, like they're like, oh, when you see the supernova or some of these lights, they're gone now.
Yeah,
right?
they don't exist.
I knew that, but it just didn't occur to me that if we traveled into the universe, we were kind of traveling back in time. And it's like, what?
Yeah, no,
it's still trippy, you know. Like,
that's the great thing about the whole time travel thing are the paradoxes. Like, it's fun to think of. I mean, I've said this on the show before. Like, it's one of my favorite things in my own life is the thinking of the bigger picture, the universe, and all that kind of stuff, and that insignificant feeling you get through it.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I don't know why. I've never really been able to pinpoint why I get such a kick out of it, but I do. I fucking love it.
Time traveling movies, and I watch the TV shows that come on, even if they're horrible. I love it. I love it.
It's cool. But I mean, this asshole didn't time travel. He was just drunk and was looking for a fucking way out of it.
Well, we'll see if it works.
What an excuse, though. Like, I'm just so impressed by like the ability to think like that while you're that intoxicated. Like, he must have had that one in his back pocket.
For public intoxication.
Yeah, like he must have had that.
Especially in a small town, they're probably used to that.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like, let's face it, it's not like this shit's new. Like, you've always had the conspiracy fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You know, that do believe that kind of stuff. Like, we were talking about the aliens and that Stan Romanek fucking guy. Right? Like,
oh, yes, that guy.
Guy's batshit fucking crazy. Like, guy's batshit fucking crazy.
He really believes that he's, like, the chosen one.
Oh, yeah. And normally they do.
What do they call him? Star-Lord?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
Something fucking dumb. But yeah, no, it's funny. I mean, I know I wouldn't make an excuse like that. I mean, I'd just be like, yeah, I'm drunk. I shouldn't be driving. Take me to jail. You caught me.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be like that guy who they catch that 28.
The 28 fucking, like, how's this guy fucking still going? Like, god damn. Like, honestly, I kind of feel like he deserves a bit of a medal.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive. Those are impressive fucking numbers, man.
And like we said, it never meant, I mean, sure, it would have mentioned in the article that he, hit somebody.
Yeah. And like to be that drunk, that often behind the wheel of a car, and
it's more than 28 times.
Yeah, and you've been fucking that's 20 times you've been caught. So I'm willing to say about 100 times you've been piss hammered driving a fucking car, and you never hurt anybody. Like, somebody signed this guy up for NASCAR. This guy's got to be the best fucking driver ever. Like,
but he's actually one of those people that drive better drunk. I drive better when I'm drunk.
Yeah. Oh, what an excuse. Fuck.
I didn't send you this one because I didn't know if we'd have time for it. But this is kind of one of those, like, once I read the headline, all you're going to say is dirt. But they did a study, and the study is watching hockey could affect fans with heart disease.
Oh, absolutely. Why do they even need to do a study about that? I nearly fucking had a heart attack when the Leafs got eliminated by the Bruins in fucking 2012. Like, I ain't even fucking joking. Like, I nearly died that fucking day.
Yeah. I see my husband getting very stressed watching these. They hooked them up to monitors, Montreal Canadiens fans, and found that they had an average increase of 75% their heart rates.
Oh, yeah.
75%. That's insane.
I'm not 100% because I glanced over this the other day when I seen it too. I think they were only talking regular season games too, not playoffs. So once you factor in the playoffs, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be the death of me. I know it. Like I know for a fact. Like,
if they actually get to a Stanley Cup game,
I am going to die watching playoff hockey.
Yeah. Now these were healthy Habs fans, so healthy Montreal Canadiens fans, and they were asked to watch half the regular season games at home on TV.
Yeah. And
then the other half were in the arena live. But still, can you imagine? Like, I mean, yeah, I know. I used to watch hockey even more than my husband watched it back in the day, but he killed it for me. He watches sports too much. Literally watch sports every day, all day long.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is. At least now he's found live PD, so that's a break in the.
Oh, live PD? That shit's fucked. But yeah.
It's crazy, but I can remember those moments where just like, yeah, your heart is just, it's almost stopped at some points because you're just waiting. Yeah. But can you, like, now we think about people that have pre-existing heart conditions, heavyset people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised we don't have more people just dropping dead at hockey games.
You know,
or any sporting event, baseball.
I thought the same thing once I read this article, and I was like, you know, I'm actually really shocked that like you don't ever really hear of it. I mean, maybe it's, you know, being covered up because it is covered up.
Maybe they're climbing the stairs, right?
But you know, it is a natural death, so there's no point to throw it on the news and make a big fucking deal about it or anything like that. But oh no, I the moment I read that title, I was like, yeah, you didn't have to do a study about that. Like, just ask a fucking hockey fan and we'll tell you.
Sit in anybody's house on Saturday night and watch them
like,
go.
We will tell you. Why do you think the stands are empty when the teams are doing shit? Because we don't want the unnecessary fucking heart attack for nothing.
But this is great why they bring in these little defibrillators all over the arenas now.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, no, I know for a fact that's how I'm going to go. I'm going to have a heart attack.
Even my father. My father, before he died, he said he didn't like to watch sports because that was the sort of thing. And he would tune in when one of our local teams would get into playoffs or something. And he did. He got really angry. This is not a guy he watched all year long. You know?
Like, I mean, shit, regular season just started. I mean, the Leafs are 2 games in, and I think I've yelled at my TV the entire fucking time. And I mean, like, actually yelled at it. Like, not just, you know, just saying shit. Like, I mean, like, angrily fucking yelling and screaming, getting real fucking mad, like, real emotion. And it's true. You'd have to imagine it's the same for football fans down south. You know, baseball, like, I don't know. I mean,
it's so slow paced unless it's like, you know, suddenly somebody's got stealing bases and stuff.
A few years back when the Jays were in the playoffs and there was that whole debacle with Texas, and, you know, the Jays fans started littering the fucking field with beer cans. At that moment, I felt it too. Like, I just felt that tightness in my heart going, oh, you fucking assholes. But it's funny how sports do that. Like,
and how, I mean, this is not about your heart, but how wrapped up we get in them, how we become and we identify ourselves as, you know, I'm a Leafs fan, so that's us. How are we going to do this year? That's what people say. How are we going to do this year?
Yeah.
It's not like, how are the Leafs going to do this year?
No, it's we.
You know, whatever your favorite team is, it's us.
Oh yeah, I'm a part of that team. I don't play for them, but I'm a part of that fucking team, and that's true to all sports fans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Across the board, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, whatever you love. That's.
I'd say it's a little more fervorous amongst soccer fans. Like, I've never known hockey fans to go meet up. Like, I've never found a group of Habs fans and said, no, meet us at this park and we're gonna beat the shit out of each other to support our fucking teams. You know?
Yeah. The soccer fans.
Oh, the hooligans they're a different fucking breed.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh yeah, that's the truth. I mean, it's just too bad they did the study and I don't want to say it.
Montreal.
Yeah, fuck the Habs. Fuck the Habs. It's their fucking year this year. But
well,
yeah,
the Leafs are doing good so far.
fucking A, we are.
2 games in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're taking the cup.
That's what the Leafs fans say every year.
Yeah. Oh, we're taking the cup. But no, it's. I mean, again, that's one of those studies that didn't have to be said.
Yeah.
Like it really didn't. I mean, what kind of dumb thought that was a good idea to do a scientific study on?
Yeah, it's like a study, like, bacon goes good with pancakes, like.
Right, like exactly. Yeah, well, like, do you prefer milk or water in your cereal? Like, fuck off, man. Like, there's only one option there. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? Of course, my heart fucking tightens when I'm watching my favorite sports team. Like, fuck
especially
off.
Hockey. Hockey is one of the fastest-paced games.
It absolutely is.
And even if there's no score,
yep,
it's still with the shots and the saves and the skating and the fight. I mean, it can be super exhilarating. So I can see why people would have a heart attack and drop dead in the stands.
I was talking to some Americans about that a little while ago. We were chirping each other about football over hockey, and I kept saying to them, "You will not find a more competitive, faster-paced game than you will hockey."
Look, I enjoy football, but there's too much stoppage in play.
Exactly. I'm not. I never want to take away from an athlete. What they do is hard. It's not something that us fucking armchair coaches could fucking do. But you cannot name me a more competitive, fast-paced, physical.
Or even hockey players, I think, are in the best shape. Oh, they're constantly moving with like a 1-minute break in between.
So the beginning of any sporting season, they do this thing called the combine. Right, so they get all the players in, they test their health and shit like that. Yeah. I saw one where they took a baseball player, a football player, and a hockey player, and they put them all through each other's combines. The hockey player was the only one that could do all of them.
I'm not surprised.
Right now, obviously,
I'm not surprised.
You put someone like a football player or a basketball player on skates. Yeah, chances are they're not going to be that good. Like skating's not something that you're just naturally born able to do. No. Like you actually have to fucking learn how to skate. But like, the hockey player crushed it. Fucking crushed everything.
I'm not surprised. I mean, these guys are literally nonstop moving almost. Right? I mean, like I said, they have a little 1-2 minute break. If you're a real star, if you're Sidney Crosby, you're not sitting on the bench very much.
No, you're playing 30 minutes. 30 minutes, back and forth, 200 foot. You're getting hit just as hard as guys are getting hit in football. You're playing the
possibly faster because this guy's gliding on ice.
Yeah, it's not a game like.
Yeah, again, it's not a wimps game.
It's the best sport on earth. It's absolutely the best sport on earth. It really is. And if you're a true sports fan, you have to understand that it is. And again, not to take away from football or basketball or baseball. I mean, I'm not a football fan, but I love baseball and basketball. And they are phenomenal sports, high compete levels, high athleticism. I mean, I've never seen an NHL player, with a 42-inch vertical jump. No. That's not something to shake a stick at. That is a feat and a half within regards to athleticism. But
and if you get to any of these like professional levels, you've trained. Yeah. Like even if you're the big fat guy that just blocks somebody on football, you still train. You
still train. Like it's that's a fair point. But I mean, you will not find a more competitive sport, a more athletic sport.
Yeah.
I mean, hockey is it's the greatest sport ever. And that's not my Canadian bias coming out. Like it really is. Like it is the greatest fucking sport.
It's a good sport.
It's starting to catch on around the world. We're starting to get Chinese and Japanese players. The first Australian.
Oh, I didn't know we had an Australian. That's fantastic.
He's playing for the Washington Capitals. He got it in his first game. Got the first ever goal scored by an Australian.
Wow,
right? That's great.
Fantastic.
That's amazing. I'm so happy that our national sport, like our national pastime, is now making it around the world.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, fucking
okay, fantastic. Yeah. So that'll be the end of the show. I have to go make breakfast.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to sleep.
Have a good couple days. We'll see you at our Wednesday show. I will be up. I will not be late.
Yeah. Happy Turkey Day to anyone eating their turkey today.
Yeah, I'm going to eat my dinner tonight, and thanks to Scott's mom for making a delicious meal. I know it will be delicious. It always is.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.